Make every night a wonderful journey, no matter where you are. Good night, sweet dreams. The first story, holder of ambition. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit a man who calls himself the holder of ambition. The sound that escapes the mouth of the worker will be so slight, and betray so little reaction, that you may not be sure there was any reaction at all. They will lead you toward a stair that only travels upward, and is lit by many windows. At the top of these stairs, the worker will leave you to travel the whole way alone, and the calm of the window, that hallway will seem eerie and unsettling. Should you see a shadow travel along the wall, do not follow it, for it is the one thing that will lead you where you do not wish to go, to a place that you can't hope to return from, to a place of your own silent fears and failures, no matter what from it takes. How it teases and taunts your dreams with the greatest of your desires and hopes. Do not even let your eyes tempt you to where it leads. If you make it to the end of the hallway, without losing sight of your goal, you will see an open doorway with no locks, no bolt, and no restraints, waiting for you with a soft light. If you choose not to enter it, only walk directly back the way you came without attempting to peek around or into other doors, where you will meet the shadow and what it hides. Should you enter the doorway, you will find a room lit by windows that cover the entire lengths of every wall, the height to reach and shining with a light that seems far less natural than the sun and moon. In the center of the room will be a tall, healthy man, standing naked and looking out into the light. His body is covered in uncountable tattoos and scars, where none of his skin is recognizable as it once was other than his face. Should you look where he looks, you will see nothing, and learn nothing. He will react to no act or words other than to the question, what joins them together? The man will turn to look you in the eyes. Do not meet his gaze, where you will lose yourself in his soulless eyes for eternity. If you are not prepared, if you can meet his gaze without the slightest doubt of your intentions, he will begin to speak in a low tone, speaking almost as if his entire story is comical or means nothing at all. But you must not miss a word, for taking this knowledge partially could cause failure in the worst way possible. When he finishes speaking, he will reach for his chest and remove the remaining sutures from one of his more noticeable scars, and begin to bleed profusely. While he slowly bleeds to death, he will reach out to you with his bloody sutures. His last words may be heard through his own gurgling blood. Choosing to seek leads to an inevitable fate. This group of sutures is Object 10 of 538. How you use them depends on what you hear. Previous next. The second story, holder of wisdom. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls himself the holder of wisdom. The worker will chuckle and you will be guided to an empty room. The worker will hand you a key and tell you to wait some time in the room until you hear a bell ring. Then you have to lock the door, wait until a sec, and ring and unlock it. It will open all by itself and reveal a long hallway, with all colors you may or may not know painted onto the walls. Ceiling and floor follow the hollow until you hear a little girl singing. Stop. Close your eyes and stay where you are until the girl finishes the song, even if you think that it will drive you mad if you do move. Run back to the door where you came from, as fast as you can. Jump through the window of the room where you waited before and you might live. Should you be unable to reach the window in time, You will be dragged back into the hallway by something that is not a little girl, pulled by this horror until time itself ends, forever feeling the pain of every soul dragged to an early grave. If you do not move and the song ceases, you are free to turn around and leave forever, or walk deeper into the hallway until you reach it, or in the shape of a human, open this door with the same key that was given to you earlier. Walk inside and close it behind you. In the middle of the room you will see a desk with a bright candle, and behind the desk will sit a man, with his face hidden by the shine of the candle. Walk closer, but always keep the flame between you and the man's face, for if you witness what he looks like, your gaze will be fixed on his until your hands have removed every inch of skin off of your bones. Stop when you are 5 steps away from the desk. The man will raise his hand and gesture you to come closer, but do not step any further than this. Close your eyes and ask in one question, nothing else. We will bring them back together. You will hear the man rising from his chair and he will begin to pray. It will be a language you will not understand at first, but after 2 minutes, you will hear a name. Should you hear Anubis, then pray that your death will come quickly. If it is, you hear, you may open your eyes. The man's head will be on the desk, cut off of the body, but still talking. After another 3 minutes, he will stop and begin to tell you how you will die. He will describe every minute detail of your horrible death, and you will be unable to move for the length of it. Lastly, he will describe the one who will steal your life away from you, and go into such detail as to why it is necessary that you yourself will question which would be the worst, you being murdered, or you being allowed to continue to live. Finally, the man's head will stop talking. It is Object 9 of 538. It is up to you what you do with the knowledge of your death, for it now is inevitable. Previous next. The third story. A simple cry for help. The tree where the bodies were found hanged off branches. I laughed along with my friends as the TV screamed, showing a black and white picture of a girl being slaughtered, the fake blood splattering onto the walls within the movie's world. It all looked so fake, yet each of us knew we probably wouldn't dare to watch this movie alone, without friends to tease you about jumping at such an obvious part. When the killer peeked around a corner suddenly in another scene, we all gave a shriek, the large popcorn bowl flying into the air. We all started laughing in unison afterward, unable to stop, until tears came to their eyes, and each girl forced themselves to quiet down. All of us heaved, trying to catch our breaths, practically rolling around the couch to try and get situated again. After the movie finally started rolling the credits, we all felt our eyes droop, the night sky pervading through the window, the moon full with reflected light, needing to clean up the prior mess before bed. We all crawled around the living room floor, picking up any trace of popcorn our tired eyes could find. My head popped up, looking around at the 2 other girls that helped scout for popcorn, but they didn't seem to have heard anything. I shrugged, thinking my head was playing with me after the movie, in addition to being tired. Help. Lindsay, is that you? I asked, knowing I heard it this time. Had looked up this time too, though our other friend didn't react at all, until I called on her. Huh? Didn't you just ask for help? Pam questioned, obviously confused. No, I'm just trying to get some of the popcorn that we're all done. Lep. Our eyes widened, all 3 of us hearing it this time. Quickly getting to our feet, we clustered around the window that the voice came from. peering into the moonlit backyard. "Do you see any th? Shush, I'm trying to listen," I whispered, straining my ear. I could make out quiet whimpers of a small child, and a gentle scratching sound, silently moving away from the window. My friends followed me to the back door. We opened it slowly, as not to let the hinges squeak. The tall, poorly maintained grass reached around our ankles as we stepped outside. Pam and Lindsay clutching my pajama shirt into their fists, obviously as nervous as myself. The whimper grew louder for a moment before another call for help reached us, coming from the direction of the only tree in the yard. We stepped across the soft grass, the autumn chill making us shiver against the gentle breeze. The tree stood stoic, the limbs unaffected from the wind, with limbs already bare from the season with the moon set behind it. The ominous shadow reached towards us, like claws reached for prey. "Hello," Lindsay dared to call out, her voice shaky with fright. "Someone there?" called out the childlike voice. "P-please-E-E-L-L-L." The voice faded out like a battery-powered radio dying. "Are you all right?" asked Pam, both girls pushing me forward. Into the shadow of the tree we sidled around to the other side as no answer returned, only to find it bare of life. "H-E-L-L-P," the tree whimpered. Lindsay screamed, darting off into the open field that neighbored Pam's yard. My other friend called after her, following in attempt to recollect her, leaving me alone with a speaking tree. "Hello," I squeaked, my voice barely audible as my body trembled. "Help me." She was in the tree. A little girl must have simply gotten stuck somehow. What else could it be? Trees do not talk. I reached out a shaky hand, my toes curling in the cool grass, and pressed my palm to the tree. It was warm. I gave a frightened sound and withdrew my hand. As soon as my skin left the rough bark, the tree started to scream. "No, it hurts. Don't leave. Stay here. Stay with me. P-L-E-S." A hand emerged from the bark itself, a human child limb, slithering out from the bark with lightning reaction. It was sickly pale in color, the short fingers snatching my wrist. I screamed back in fear, trying to pull away, but the small hand held fast, possessing more strength than any child could possess. Instead of letting me go, it slowly started to retract. "Stop. Let me go," I begged, tears coming to my eyes. When my own hand touched the bark again, it seemed to swallow me, hungrily taking my arm further in as the arm dragged me more. Within a few moments, I was fully engulfed. Rather than seeing the girl who cried for help, there was simply nothing. "Hello?" I called out hopelessly. "Help?" I heard a giggle from a young girl again. "Thank you for freeing me." I couldn't stop calling out. I felt so desperate and alone. But it wasn't until years later that anyone heard my cries. A new family had moved in after Pam's close friend disappeared at this house. This time, a young boy drew near, ready to aid a simple call for help that he will regret.